I think it's important to understand what blockchain is. I think that's the whole technology that's sort of changing the landscape, right? And crypto is just a facet of that. So essentially, blockchain. Think about it as like a database that's your computer, my computer, but it's spread out. It's not centralized by one company. It's not centralized in one location, right? That's the beauty of blockchain, and it's all public. So I can take that data and do a lot more with it. If I'm a really good data scientist, I can mine the blockchain and get some really cool analytics out of it. And a lot of that blockchain technology is what's spurring all this innovation, right? You talked about
Right.
NFTs, NBA Top Shots is on fire right now. You hear Bitcoin on every single news article nowadays, or you see it on TV. It's just a lot of game changing technology that's taking place right in front of our eyes. A lot of it's powered by technology, and a lot of it's also powered by what's going on in the world with finance, right? With the government printing all this money, things getting more expensive, inflation going up. I think crypto has a place in this world. Personally speaking, like you know, a lot of us, myself, try to get loans, and it gets more difficult, right? Like you have to go to a middle party, a bank has to, be involved. You have to go to like a real estate agent, and crypto kind of removes the middleman. Like I can go get a loan, I can go borrow some money without having to do all that, right? I don't have to worry about a credit check. It's a lot of cool applications. So
But explain that part. I think that's the part where that's what interested me when I first learned about Bitcoin. I guess after what's his name, Tasha Mayashi, whatever his name is, that created it. And he been on
Satoshi,
the run.
yeah,
Satoshi, he's been on the run since. But it was the guy that created Silk Road. This is the reason why Bitcoin became Bitcoin. He put it on the map 8 years ago. The feds found him in the library. He was responsible for basically creating a digital Silk Road. He copied the name from the Chinese Silk Road, where they sold silk and all types of stuff, all types of materials. But there wasn't silk being sold in Silk Road. In this Silk Road, there was all types of drugs, and that's the reason why they got hot. And once he got caught, that's what caught my eye. And I'm like, wait, what is this Bitcoin thing? And even with Jamie Dimon, the way he speaks kind of adversely to it, for me, it's like, yeah, but JP Morgan Chase created a Bitcoin patent like currency.
yeah.
So cryptocurrency is real. So I guess I wanted to express, how does it eliminate the middleman? Like, because it makes it it gives it that integrity where you don't have to worry about this. If you're familiar with the peer-to-peer
Yeah,
uh, Napster
yeah.
sharing streaming music streaming service.
I think that's a great example. So, if for those of you, and I don't want to date myself here, but if for those of you that have used Napster or any of these file sharing things, like you literally would start up a computer, go into like an application and kind of say, I want to go find the latest Biggie song or whatever, and boom, it would show up, right? You would download it from someone else's computer. Maybe it's on your computer. I don't know who it is, but I would download off your computer and bam, I would have the song. Cryptocurrency is almost the same application, right? It's peer to peer, right? I don't have to go to a Spotify to download my music. I don't have to go to a bank anymore. We're not there yet, but in theory, I don't have to go to a bank anymore to do stuff. But I also think if you take a step back, there's a whole bunch of applications to cryptocurrency, right? Like Bitcoin is great, because it went from 0 to like 56,000 today. Like that's in 10 years, like it's a $1 trillion asset. I mean, you haven't seen growth like that ever. Like I don't, with the exception of maybe like Tesla stock, you haven't seen anything like that. And it's important to note why Bitcoin went up, right? Um, Financially speaking, Bitcoin is like a hedge, but Bitcoin can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. To me, it means a hedge because like one Bitcoin or one Satoshi is like 1 cent of a Bitcoin. Think about it that way. Is always going to be 1 cent, right? If I want to go buy something, it's going to have the same value. And that is one of the cool things about Bitcoin. Like it doesn't lose its value, right? If inflation goes up, the price of like an apple goes up. But to me, that Bitcoin value is still going to hold the same. I'm still going to have the same buying power. That's a really important concept to understand with Bitcoin. And then there's all the different flavors of it, right? You have like Ethereum, which is like that's what DeFi is built on. NFTs is built on that, and I kind of look at Ethereum as like the new internet. That's connecting a lot of people together. It's decentralized, meaning like it's not controlled by a single person or a single group.
Right.
It's like a lot of people like you and I turn on our computers, load up a what's called a node, and all of a sudden, bam, we're part of the ecosystem.
So before that, what keeps the integrity? Like, it's the blockchain that actually records the transaction in some sort of algorithm, right? Like a math equation. So now you're following these transactions, but they're encoded, they're encrypted, and how does that work?
Simply speaking, I think you hit the nail on the head, right? It's distributed, meaning like it's not controlled in one single entity. So like it's immutable. I can't change it. So for example, I make a transaction on the blockchain. I go buy a car, and I pay someone in Bitcoin. It's there. The record is there, and I can't change it. Like I can't go and erase it. I can't go edit it. And automatically gets copied over several times to other blockchains. So it's always a record. That's kind of nice. If you're looking in a world today where there's, what is the truth?
Right.
Man, it's on the blockchain. I can't change it. That's kind of nice. So for me, I first got into this. I know I didn't ask this, but I got into blockchain back in 2017. I got into it. All my friends were talking about it. Man, there's so much money to be made on this thing. And I blindly followed people. And I'm like, all right, let me do this. And I saw it go all the way up. And then, what was it, like January? I'm like, man, This is going to be awesome. I'm going to be rich. I don't know the first thing about it. And then all of a sudden fell off a cliff. Like it went to nothing. That's when I kind of told myself, like, I need to learn what this is, because this is kind of cool. And I spent the last 3 years learning, reading, studying, and learning about all the applications, which is why, like, I think this is like game-changing stuff for people like you and I and the common folk that wants to get ahead. I think this is game-changing stuff that we should all try to understand, at least.